Hey friends, Ben with Food Facts here. I'm sitting with Austin and Shannon and Oma Leen's in Hico, Texas. Let's dive right into it. I want to start with your guys' story and how you started. So how did y'all meet?
So we met in college at Tarleton. Pretty standard way of meeting. Mutual friends, and we hung out one day and we kept hanging out ever since.
Wow.
We literally have not
stopped.
stopped.
Y'all are married. You run 2 restaurants now. How did you get involved in the food world?
Shannon was doing meal prep for professors at Tarleton and stuff like that, and it was going really well. I didn't like class. I wasn't going, and then paying for it, not going, it just became a drag. And so I was like, hey, why don't you deliver those awesome meals in something like more professional packaging? So we went from Walmart bags to like birthday bags, like from the dollar store, like way much.
So professional.
Yeah, so professional. And then we would deliver these meals and we'd dress up like on Sunday church. You know, like we didn't have any uniforms or any idea of what to wear. So we were like, let's just dress nice. And these people were like, where are you going after this? On a date or something? We're like, no, we're here just
delivering food.
Yeah.
So Shannon, how did you start in with the food business?
I was meal prepping and switching, bartering with my hairdresser. I was making her meals, and she would do my hair for free. So I'm like, oh, this is so fun, you know? And then she was like, I guess, eating them in front of her clients, and they were like, what are you eating? And she told them. And then when I went to Tarleton, I started, prepping for professors and stuff like that because I couldn't hold down a job. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. Chili's fired me. I don't know. I always have just wanted to do my own thing because it's hard. Someone wants you there on time. It's better to, I don't know. We've always just worked for ourselves.
Sure.
So,
Austin, you came onto the food business with Shannon. Was there some convincing?
Oh, yeah.
I had to convince her to drop out of college.
He was like the bad influence. He was just, kind of like how I was, like not wanting to work for someone else. He was that times 10 and kind of extreme, like, well, you know what? Let's just drop out and do this. I'm like, I'm making like $800 a week. Okay.
Yeah.
The meal prepping turned into it kind of got pretty big in Fort Worth, and that led to a corporate contract. We had a company called Dyna Energetics. They're a worldwide company, but they have a facility, like a plant in Blum, 30 miles out of Cleburne, where we were living. And they contacted us to be their like sole food service provider. And we did that for 2 years. Mm-hmm. And then it got kind of just dull. You're cooking lunch food.
So the same thing happened. This like rebelliousness of, oh my gosh, I don't want to work for someone else. Well, it started to feel like we were. And they're very corporate. And so we're like, we need to not do this anymore. We need to do our own thing again. Even though we were making like pretty good money there.
It was a good deal.
There was a creative need.
There's a creative block there because like you can only charge. We were charging I think $8 for a meal, $8 to $10 for a meal, and like I get that there's a place for that, and I love that. But at some point it is a block to doing what you want to do as a chef or a cook or a business person.
And we didn't realize that we wanted to like fully be like chefs. We were more so in the
entrepreneurs,
minds of entrepreneurs.
Originally.
Yeah.
There's no formal training as far as the food side of the business.
Not at all.
This is all y'all just picking up and moving into it, right?
Yeah, the first time she made a large batch of sauce for Dinah, it was for 300 people or so. And we didn't know how much to make.
Yeah.
Dude, she made like, you don't even know.
I made a pot like this big, like almost as tall as me.
But that's I think it was like 2 of those because there was a pot that big left over after we fed all these people. We're like, you know how much Parmesan's in there? Like that costs it's a $200.
Sounds like a holiday at my house. Just go all out and pray for the best.
Exactly,
right? Now, I did some internet sleuthing, and you have cooked for a pretty big name in the food world. I saw a video of Gordon Ramsay out there. How was that? Pretty cool. I mean, did you get to talk?
So that was cool.
Yeah.
I think that's what really switched our gears because I've always, growing up, I've been a foodie. Like I'm obsessed with food. Me and my brothers would spend summers watching the Food Network. Like, just
I can relate.
Yeah. And so meeting Gordon Ramsay and doing that on a whim, because I just applied on Twitter for this competition. Okay. And meeting him and then just like, I don't know, it just switched gears and like, wow, I want to be a chef.
Yeah.
I don't just want to do business. Business is really cool. I love it. But like the chef stuff, food,
So now y'all are in Hico. You have two restaurants, Oma Leen's and
Barbacelli's.
Barbacelli's, which we had lunch at. It was a great
Nice.
spot.
Good.
And then you've got two young kids.
Yeah.
Y'all are pretty young yourselves. Two restaurants. I mean, you're busy all the time, right?
Oh yeah.
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 It never
doesn't
stops.
No,
It
and we have
doesn't
to
stop.
like make ourselves stop. Like on
Yeah,
the
sure.
one Tuesday a week that we get.
Now, are y'all from Hico originally, or the area in general, or so why Hico?
No, like I'm from West Texas, the Midland, Odessa area, San Angelo. My dad was a coach, so we moved around a couple spots. Basically, a 60-mile radius between Midland and San Angelo, and then
I'm from Louisiana.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
we met at
totally.
Tarleton, kind of right there in the, well, kind of almost in the middle. I mean, Midland's pretty far out there.
So how did y'all pick Hico for the spot?
Well, okay, so back to the timeline. So we had Dyna Energetics, and we were feeling antsy and wanting to do something more creative after that thing with Gordon Ramsay, actually. And so we're like, let's do a pop up. And the term pop up was extremely new, I feel like, at that time.
Well, at minimum for this area.
Yeah.
Like you
probably
see in the
not.
cities, there's
California.
great chefs who have been doing things like this, but
Yeah.
around here it was
What's a pop up?
yeah,
So,
pop-up dinner.
Pop-up
5
chef.
courses,
And nobody knew who we
$65.
were.
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
It's a steal these days, yeah.
Yeah.
So we like went around Glen Rose, just searching for a place to do a pop up dinner, and actually,
We got told no by,
yeah,
I mean, every restaurant in Glen Rose till we went into Blackie's gas stop. No, Blackie's on the square, and Dauber was in there. He started all that whole thing, and I knew of him because we had been coming to. My family lives in Glen Rose, and we'd been
Okay.
going to Blackie's in Walnut Springs forever. Like I mean, since I was a kid, and so went in there and said, "Hey, my granddad knows you, and we like cooking. Like, do you want to try to do a pop up dinner?" And that's when we met Kyle as well, Kyle Hooper. And we kind of sat down and just poked around what does a pop up dinner like financially for both parties look like, and we set it up and
in Walnut Springs.
in Walnut
Okay.
Springs
Their
on a
original
Thursday.
restaurant.
Was it a
Yeah.
Thursday?
Mhm.
Yeah, Thursday
It's
nights.
a Thursday. Well, the pop ups were a success,
Yeah.
and so we ended up doing like 2 more. Those all were a hit, and so Dauber was like, "Hey, I have this space across the street from my restaurant. It has a kitchen in it. Y'all want to rent it?" And we're like, "Oh, maybe so."
Yeah, y'all did the pop up, and let's dive into Oma Leen's here. I looked into the name and everything, so I want y'all to talk about the name because I think it's really cool
Yeah.
that you've connected that back to not just one family member, but both family
Yeah,
members. So
2.
talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, okay, so Oma Leen's, when we were deciding on the name, it's hard to decide on a name.
A lot of
Deciding on your
names.
kid's
Kind of like
name.
naming a child.
It's
yeah.
like
sure.
naming a child. It is. In a restaurant, that's a big deal. So Oma Lean's, that's a mix. That's his great grandmother, Oma. And then my mama, her name was Walin. So we're like, Oma Lean's.
I don't know. Oma Lean's, it had to make sense, had to be classy, had to kind of tell what you're trying to do, which is
Yeah.
like home style, southern. The whole point of what we do with everything is southern hospitality. Like, we want people to feel welcome when you come eat. Like, we always have going to Grammy and Papa's house or your mama's house and having biscuits. It's comfortable. It's not stuffy and, prestigious. Or we just want really good food.
We
With
wanted
a
to
relaxed-
bring the fine dining food,
Yeah.
the sauces, the technique, what we had been learning, and pair it with that like sweetness.
It sounds to me like it's a family influence with Southern influence.
Yep.
Talk about the menu a little bit. What are some frequent characters on the menu?
Yeah.
What are some highlights?
Something you can never take off, we found out, was chicken and pasta. So we used to name our dishes a little, not here quite yet. I don't know if we'll go that route, but at the old Oma Leen's, we'd name our dishes weird, like short rib was Ghost Shorty. The chicken and pasta was this and that. And so, anyways, we took the chicken and pasta off the menu, and I got so many, they weren't like mad at, but they were like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And so, anyways, I when we put it back on the menu, we named it something like, we can't take this off ever because you asked, or something dumb. But
And the reason for having chicken and pasta is
Mhm.
okay. So my roots, my dad's side of the family is all full blood Italian.
Okay.
Then my mom's side is just Southern, Louisiana. So I have people from New Jersey and then Louisiana.
Yeah.
So I grew up eating chicken and rice. and we would have it, and it would be creamy. You'd do like the canned cream of mushroom soup, but it was so good. And then on my dad's side, we would have pasta and like all the gravies, those sauces. And so just combining that, I guess, became really special. And people can taste the story,
Right.
Like I don't know, it's just very special.
And y'all opened the original Oma Leens in 2020, right?
Had to be. It was right at the beginning of COVID. So
2019.
COVID started that, the initial outburst of that started early that year while we were still at our corporate dining contract. November 7th of that year, we opened Oma Leen's in Walnut Springs while we maintained the corporate contract because it was 2 days a week. Like this was
Okay.
The way we did it is we had very little labor. It was basically me and Shannon doing most of it. We had a really awesome sous chef with us, and but no training. Like we were all just trying to make something awesome, and then some servers. So we could keep the corporate dining contract Monday through Friday, prep all the food at the corporate dining service, load it in the Yeti cooler, bring it to the restaurant, get it all unloaded, finish prepping, finish cooking dinner service, and it was really hectic, honestly.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
I see the bar. It catches your eye the second you walk in.
Yes.
Tell me about the bar.
It's so it was originally built in 1880. It's a Brunswick bar, so you can take them apart and put them on trains. Like the point of the design was to be able to break them down, load them on a train, send them to the next spot.
Okay.
So they went to Dodge City, Kansas, and so you had a lot of like soldiers. There was a lot of buffalo hunting and kind of like the Wild West. So the population of Dodge City, Kansas was like 1,025 people. There was something like 21 establishments licensed to sell alcohol. Right, so you're talking about a town the size of Hico with 21 bars.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? Like,
It seems like overkill.
yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit. So
that's-
people, who knows what this bar has seen, but like Doc Holliday, the names of those likes, all maybe if they didn't see this bar, I bet they did. Like, I mean, it's
So there's a ton of history in that wood.
yes. And then I don't know if you know Gene Autry is. He's like the singing
Yep.
cowboy, whatever. It went and did a stint in his museum for a while, and then it did some time in Vegas somewhere. I can't remember where. And then it was on auction in Pennsylvania. How great is it to have a piece like that to add to the
Oh, it's beautiful.
overall, interest of the
Western.
restaurant? It's fantastic.
Yeah.
What's the biggest challenge you faced in this industry that you didn't expect?
The time it
Yeah.
takes to
you're right.
execute correctly and to a high enough standard and
Sure.
not cutting corners. Because it's easy to look at, Cisco's product list or another Fresh Point or another one and be like, oh, wow, some people are just buying this frozen or buying this canned, but we don't want to do that. And so what happens is it takes longer hours. It takes that Tuesday sometimes, that one day off, to come in and make those desserts
I
from
mean,
scratch.
like, we're closed today. We don't open till tomorrow. We put in an 8-hour workday. The hours are rough. If you can't handle the hours, this is not the deal.
Being
for
on
you.
your feet from like 8 a.m. until 11 p.m., literally on your feet, and then eating like over a trash can.
Or sitting
something.
on the ground.
And then
I
running
sit
home to
there.
2 small kids. 'Cause
Yes.
Who would be your biggest shout out right now with what you have under your belt?
I worked for a chef in Dallas, Matt McAllister, and he didn't even know what he's done for me. Which is like, it's crazy. I learned a lot in a short amount of time there. I was only there for like 3 months, but I learned like an incredible amount just on how high power kitchens function and operate, and cleanliness and thought processes and creativity. And then my second shout out is Michael Flores, because he kind of taught me you have to be on time, you can't be late. You got to be early. And then he taught us how to make like the best rice ever.
Oh,
In 14 minutes. Most people
It's
take forever,
amazing.
and we will never change that rice because it is just incredible. Your family,
Molly from
Molly,
Ellerby.
Molly McCook from Ellerby was integral in like learning, and Richard King. They're partners, not married. I'm saying they're business partners, and they own Ellerby in Fort Worth. She came to
on
our grand opening
night.
Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
and helped us out. And her
Yeah.
husband was like washing wine glasses for us. Like,
Yeah.
Nice.
gave us so much insight into what we're looking for as far as how a menu should be set up and how you should cost things. And then Richard helped us with the wine and just the overall general management and the, technique behind all that, because there is. So yeah, that's
I'd also
a huge
shout
one.
out our investor. I'm not going to say his name just in case. He's funny. But
Yeah, but
him and his
Investors are key.
yeah, but they're key.
Okay, do y'all have a food trivia thing?
did you know you can cook rice in 14 minutes?
Yeah, that's a pretty good
I mean,
one.
most people, the people when she went on a cooking show in Italy, they were doing the preliminary videoing and stuff, and they were like, "What?"
Oh
They
yeah, I
can
had to
cook that.
cook in front of a judge
Okay.
to maybe go on a show. And I'm like, I can cook rice in 7 minutes. He's like, what? 7 minutes? So, I mean, that's cool trivia.
So you can cook
Can
rice in
cook
7
rice in
minutes.
7 minutes.
Now-
Just about
now you know.
technique. Yeah,
Now you know.
technique.
Austin, Shannon, thanks for giving me some time and letting me come tell your food story. Thank you guys.
Thanks for coming, man. Yeah, awesome.